Monty Rowan, the District Maintenance Chief for Diablo Range.
Hello and welcome. It's nice to see so many people here to celebrate the completion of this phase of the Bike Turnouts. Like April said, my name is Monty Rowan. I'm the Diablo Range District Facility Development Program Manager, and I'm going to share a brief history of the project. Back in late 2013 or 2014, right after getting promoted to the Bay Sector Maintenance Chief, which includes Mount Diablo, I get this email from someone I've never met, nor did I know how this person decided I was a good contact. In this email, he asked what I think about putting double yellow lines around blind corners on the mountain. At the time, mind you, the entire mountain had single striping for a center line. I said, that's a great idea. Little did I know the process and time it would take. 2 to 3 years later, we finally got the road signing and striping project completed. During this whole time, I had several emails, phone calls, and personal meetings with this gentleman. One particular conversation I remember we had about bike lanes. Although the timing is a bit foggy, I remember telling this gentleman, if I had my way, we would have a paved bike lane from the bottom of the mountain all the way to the summit. To this day, I remember this being the beginning, or concept, if you will, for the Bike Turnouts. In the summer of 2014, Brian Goring took over as Bay Sector Superintendent and quickly took over this project. During the road and signage project, with the assistance of this gentleman, there were a few places that were identified as areas that we could add a little pavement, throw a little paint down, and we called these the experimental bike turnouts. This gentleman went through the park and identified roughly about 30 places where we could place turnouts. Ryan and I spent 2 days photographing, measuring, and documenting construction details for over 70 plus locations for bike turnouts, which was about 1/3 of the distance of all the paved roads on the mountain. We were very ambitious, as we did not consider the cost, only the possibilities. With the road and striping plans already done, Brian Goring was able to place the turnouts on those existing plans, which saved quite a bit of time, but was still a huge undertaking. We contemplated on how we could come up with the funding. One option was to include the turnouts in a larger road improvement project, which is in the works. Another option would be to submit a BCP. A BCP is a budget change proposal to the legislature, and only about 2% of these ever get approved. And it takes about a 1.5 year process just to get on the... This is where this gentleman comes into play. He's like a dog with a bone. He never lets go, and he never took no for an answer. He started out with a supervising ranger here at Mount Diablo. Then he found me, and he never took no for an answer. He started out with a supervising ranger here at Mount Diablo. Then he found me, and he never took no for an answer. He started out with a supervising ranger here at Mount Diablo. Then he found me, and he never took no for an answer. He started out with a supervising ranger here at Mount Diablo. Then he found me, and he never took no for an answer. He started out with a supervising ranger here at Mount Diablo. Then he found me, and he never took no for an answer. He started out with a supervising ranger here at Mount Diablo. Then he found me, and he never took no for an answer. He started out with a supervising ranger here at Mount Diablo. Then he found me, and he never took no for an answer. He started out with a supervising ranger here at Mount Diablo. Then he found me, and he never took no for an answer. He started out with a supervising ranger here at Mount Diablo. Then he found me, and he never took no for an answer. He started out with a supervising Then he worked his way up the management chain to Ryan, then to Eddie Waracha, the district superintendent, and with Eddie's recent retirement, April Marson, the Diablo Range District Admin Chief, has been his contact. With his efforts, somehow he convinced Senator Steve Glazer to come up with $1.5 million. I can honestly say we would not be where we are today if it were not for this gentleman, retired Army Colonel Alan Kalin. Thank you.
And with that lovely speech, we are going to have our next speaker, the lovely retired Colonel Alan Kalin.
Hey! Thank you. Thank you very much. Can everybody hear me in the back?
Yes, sir.
Good. We did it! We did it! You did it! They gave me a mic. I can walk around. Look out. Congratulations. Together we did it. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. We are here today to celebrate 10 years of hard work to prevent collisions and save lives. The installation of 45 bike turnouts on Mount Diablo. That's amazing. I can't thank you enough. I have two questions for you now, and you have to kind of pay attention on this one. Please raise your hand if the answer is yes. Raise your hand if the answer is yes. Have you ever had a vehicle pass you on a blind curve while you were riding a bicycle up the mountain? Put those hands up high. Put them up high. Even the battalion fire chief. I didn't know, Mike, you rode a bike. That's great. Second question, and again, I need you to participate, so raise your hand. Have you ever had a vehicle in your lane as you were riding your bicycle down the mountain? Yes. Again? This is great. You're why bike turnouts were created. You're the reason. Every bike turnout has the potential to prevent injuries and a possible fatality. This has truly been a team effort by thousands of people throughout the Bay Area. And I have a list of thousands of names, so we're going to be here till next Wednesday, so get comfortable. But today, I would like to just thank a few individuals and some special organizations. State Senator Glazer has been amazing, his entire staff, all these years. Thank you. Thank you very much. Assemblymember Bauer-Kahan and her staff couldn't have done it without her and them. Thank you. Contra Costa County Supervisor Candice Anderson and her Chief of Staff is here. Gail, where are you? Raise your hand. Gail Israel, thank you. Danville Town Council Member Karen Stepper. I don't think she could make it today, but over the years she's been so helpful. Her daughter Shannon, a few years ago, was descending South Gate on a bicycle and she was hit. We call that curve Shannon's Curve, and there's a bike turnout there now. San Ramon, go Wolves. I was at the game last night. It was pretty ugly. San Ramon Valley High School Mountain Bike Club. Raise your hand, every one of you. Okay? Special thanks to every one of you, the parents, the kids, the coaches. It's an amazing organization. I can't thank you enough. And I want to thank everyone that's here today. But I want to thank someone very special. Some individuals very special. And that would be the San Ramon Valley Fire Department. And I want to introduce just let you know who he is. Battalion Fire Chief Mike Moen. Thank you, Mike, for coming. Please tell the Diablo Fire Station 33 thank you. Okay? Thank you. I would ask everyone, including elected leaders and the media, to take a moment and reflect upon your contribution to this historic moment. 45 bike turnouts. Wow. Unfortunately, there is one very special person who is not with us here today. Joe Shammy.
Yeah.
For those of you who did not know Joe, he was a cyclist known as the Legend of Mount Diablo. Joe rode his bike up Mount Diablo 615 consecutive weeks for over 11 years. Let me say that again slowly. Joe rode his bike up Mount Diablo 615 consecutive weeks for over 11 years. And the last time he rode his bike up, he was 86 years young. Along the way, Joe always tried to inspire people to help, to improve safety for cyclists and motorists. Bike turnouts are not just for cyclists, they're for motorists too. He motivated elected leaders, the media, and countless park visitors to install bike turnouts. Tragically, on April 14th, 2021, Joe was struck and killed by a vehicle while riding his bicycle. Joe was my friend. He was your friend. Joe was 86 years young and never accepted the word no when lives were at stake. And so, in honor of Joe's efforts, his spirit, and his inspiring demonstration of a life fully lived, we are dedicating all 45 bike turnouts to Joe. And even though Joe is not with us here today, he left us a very special gift in his will. $123,000 to fund additional bike turnouts on Mount Diablo. Thank you. These funds are being held in trust by the California State Parks Foundation. I have spoken to the California State Parks Foundation, and they are honored to work with all of us, and especially honored to work with California State Parks. And I want to introduce the new superintendent, Clinton, who's the Diablo District Range. If State Parks will match Joe's gift, it will add additional number of bike turnouts. This leads me to my last two questions. Okay? My last two questions. Please respond loudly and clearly. So loudly that Joe, who we hope is riding his bicycle in heaven, can hear you. Question number one. Do you want California State Parks to match or exceed Joe's donation of $123,000 to install additional bike turnouts? Question number two. Do you want California State Parks, the California State Parks Foundation, State Senator Glazer, and Assemblymember Bauer-Kahan to work together to install additional bike turnouts? In closing, In closing, it's a privilege to stand here and look at all of you, your amazing support. Together, we will finish this project. Together, we will make it safer for motorists and cyclists. So again, from the bottom of my heart, thank you very much. Thank you.
Wow, thank you, Al. That was very inspiring, right? Yeah. I don't think Joe heard you. Yeah. All right, thank you. Our next speaker, do we have anyone? I hadn't seen anybody check in to represent Miss Senator Glazer's office. You are up next, ma'am. Come on up.
Thank you.
I would have used your name, but here is
Jennifer. Hi, I'm Jennifer Rizzo. I'm with Senator Steve Glazer's office. I want to first thank Al and the state parks leadership and all the Mount Diablo cyclists who actually made this possible. Because of your work, cyclists and motorists will be safer on this road, and more people will get to enjoy these amazing views of the region from the summit. On behalf of Senator Glazer, I especially want to recognize Al Kalin for his dedication to this cause. His persistence to overcome all the obstacles in his path, never giving up even when the going got tough, reflects the same kind of stamina that it takes to climb this glorious mountain on a bike. When Al, on behalf of the Mount Diablo cyclists, first proposed the idea of bicycle turnouts many years ago, no one had ever heard of the concept. He first had to persuade the park leadership that the concept was a viable concept. But even after they agreed, he had to find the money to make this dream a reality. He first approached our office, and we wanted to help, but the state budget was tight at that time, and there was nothing we could do. But Al did not give up. Year after year, he came to us, making his case for this project. And finally, when the economy boomed and the state set aside a portion of his surplus for capital projects, Senator Glazer had an opportunity to identify a handful of worthy candidates from his district. Mount Diablo was near the top of that list, and fortunately, the senator's colleagues in the legislature and the governor agreed that this would be a worthy investment that quite literally would save lives. We had hoped that the appropriation would be sufficient to build all the turnouts envisioned by the Mount Diablo cyclists and included in the park's plan. Unfortunately, due to the rising cost, it was not the case, but the turnouts have been built this year are an excellent start. And we hope to see the rest of the plan become a reality in the years ahead. Thank you again for everyone who collaborated to make the success story for our district and our community. We appreciate all you have done.
looking at my notes. Next we have Caitlin Keeshan. She is representing Assemblywoman Rebecca Bauer-Kahan.
Hello everyone, I'm Caitlin. I'm here on behalf of Assemblymember Rebecca Bauer-Kahan, who represents the 16th Assembly District and is the chair of the Assembly's Water Parks and Wildlife Committee. She's not able to join us this morning, but she sends her well wishes. Throughout the entirety of the district, you can see Mount Diablo. It looms large over our communities physically, but also takes up an important presence in our emotions and in our memories and our communities here. So many community members make the trip up the mountain to look at the stunning view, to see wildflowers or tarantulas, depending on season, to connect with nature and the history of our region, or to recreate and get active. The wonderful rangers and naturalists with the State Parks Department do so much to keep our community safe and to make the park come alive with programming and interpretation. Parks are for everyone, and making sure that our communities have access to these fantastic resources is so important. Which brings us to why we're here today. Many community members access the park by bike. Hundreds of cyclists wind their way up Mount Diablo all the time, making a truly intense journey, additionally harrowing by the very real danger of collisions with motorists. This will change with these incredible bike turnouts. Our parks should be safe for all, and this is a huge step in that direction. This accomplishment has been a long time coming, and the Assembly member would like to extend her deepest gratitude for everyone gathered here who helped bring this to fruition. Thank you, Senator Glazer, for being an excellent partner in the legislature on this issue, and to State Parks for your leadership. And thank you, in particular, to the tireless advocacy of the Mount Diablo cyclists on this issue. Al Kaling and the rest of the leadership team have been fighting to keep cyclists safe on Mount Diablo for years, and we would not be here celebrating this moment without their dedication and effort. The Assembly member would also like to take a moment to recognize Joe Shammy. May his memory be a blessing. He is truly a legend in this community. She is so excited to see the fruits of all this hard work. These turnouts are vital for providing improved, safe access to this beautiful place. It will make such an important difference. Thank you all.
And last, we have Representative for Candice Anderson for the county representative. Gail, were you going to speak?
I actually am.
Okay, then Gail Israel on behalf of County Superintendent.
Hi, good morning, everyone. I'm very happy to be here in this amazing scenery right in our own backyard. I am Gail Israel. I'm Chief of Staff to County Supervisor Candice Anderson. She represents, as of January, the entire San Ramon Valley area and this side of Mount Diablo as well. And I was given a special task to put together a resolution from the Board of Supervisors recognizing Al Kaling, and I'm going to read it really quickly. The Contra Costa Board of Supervisors, Contra Costa County, in the matter recognizing Al Kaling for his outstanding achievements to promote and ensure safe cycling. Whereas Al Kaling has championed safety improvements for cyclists on Mount Diablo for the past decade, and whereas Al Kaling recognized the need for the cycling community to come together to speak with one voice, he originated and led an organization, Mount Diablo Cyclists, that focused on improving safety and awareness of safety issues on Mount Diablo, and whereas Al Kaling worked with Mount Diablo State Park officials to install signage and double yellow striping on Mount Diablo beginning in 2014, discouraging drivers from passing cyclists on blind curbs and asking cyclists to slow down when descending, and whereas Al Kaling requested the help of elected officials to secure over $1.5 million in funding from the state of California for bike turnouts in Mount Diablo State Park, and worked with park officials to identify and prioritize turnout locations. And whereas Al Kaling made an enormous effort to consult every public resource for information on bicycle versus vehicle collisions on Mount Diablo from the state park, California Highway Patrol, County Sheriff, and Danville Police, including Freedom of Information Act requests. And whereas Al Kaling continuously promoted collaboration between Mount Diablo cyclists and park officials to ensure that the turnouts were placed in areas most prone to bicycle versus vehicle collisions. And now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Supervisors of Contra Costa County does hereby congratulate Al Kaling for his outstanding achievements to promote and ensure cycling on Mount Diablo and the surrounding area. His tireless efforts have demonstrably improved cyclist safety on Mount Diablo, significantly reduced the chances for bike versus vehicle collisions, and helped to make the drive up Mount Diablo easier, safer, and more enjoyable for motorists. And this was passed by the Board of Supervisors on the 20th of September.
All right, well, that's it for our speakers. So I would like to say, oh, Bruce wants to speak after all. Okay. Bruce.
All right, Bruce.
Thanks, April. My name is Bruce Bilodeau. I am a coach with the San Ramon Valley Mountain Bike Club. I am the vice chair of the Town of Danville's Bicycle Advisory Commission and a member of Mount Diablo Cyclists. And I think this is turning into an Al appreciation fest, and I have to say I'm like right on board with that idea. So anyway, I don't know if you know, but Al is the chair of the Danville Bike Advisory Commission, and a retired Army colonel, and the president of Mount Diablo Cyclists. So Mount Diablo Cyclists has worked with the park, we have monthly meetings, I think, don't we? Thanks to Al. He is like a dog with a bone. Thank you. That was good. Anyway, he's worked for a long time, and the Mount Diablo Cyclists would like to honor him with a plaque of appreciation. So, Al, thank you for everything you've done to make bicycling safer for everybody riding up the hill. I don't know, but a lot of you may have seen these signs before. I think Al had a lot to do with that, if memory serves me right. And there's one more sign that we left off, which I really want to point out to everybody, and that is bicyclists must use the turnouts. Otherwise, none of this will work. So, be good. So, anyway, thank you very much.
I don't know what to say. I am humbled, and it is a privilege. It is. Jeff, you shouldn't have done it, but I love it. I love that. You know, it wasn't easy training a tarantula to ride a bicycle. Okay, we have worked really hard, and one day there's going to be a jersey. And who made the mistake to give me this mic? Anyway, we're going to have a photo at the end. We encourage everyone to be in it. It's taken us 10 years to get that photo. So when April's finished, we're going to move a few things. We'll have everybody here with the mountain in the background. Please hang out and please be in the photo. Please. You'll show it to your grandkids years from now. April.
Thank you, Al. So I'm going to ask, anybody else want to come up and say, we love you, Al? All right. So I just wanted to say in closing that the bike turnouts are an important project for California State Parks. We see the difference. We see the safety. We are wanting to continue with this. And also for safety, everybody's safety on the road. The double yellow lines are getting repainted. Soon.